Hi FlossTube, this is Autumn, the Yellow Rose Stitcher. Welcome to my channel. Today is the 22nd of September, so happy first day of fall, yay. Not that it really changes anything in here in Texas. Our highs today's like near 100. So we got a little wait a little longer for fall weather here in North Texas, but that's normal. So, but I hope you're doing well. This is, in case you're new here, welcome. I hope you like what you see. This is a channel, my crafting journal as it is. I try to keep it mostly to cross stitch, but I am a multi-crafter, so, and today there's a little bit of knitting and in plans. I've got some other stuff that I want to show to work on, quilting and wool applique, but so I like to do it all, which is the problem. If you're returning, welcome. And if you're new, if you like lots of variety and not necessarily a lot of finishes, then I'm your gal. Although I kept putting this video off thinking I hadn't gotten very much done. But once I started gathering things, I'd done more than I thought, which is typical. Which is partly why my husband encouraged me to start this, because I never think I get as much done as I actually do. So I don't know if any of you others out there are like that. If you watched my last video in August, my normal FlossTube, you'll know that we were without air conditioning, and thankfully at the time we were told that the part for our air conditioner wouldn't come in until mid-September, but we got lucky and it came in about mid-August, I think the 17th of August. So thankful that we didn't have to go as long without air conditioning and house sitting for friends at church that we thought we were going to. So very, very excited about that. So, and if you've left some comments, I apologize. I'm behind on getting back to people. I apologize. I keep intending to do better on that. So I'll keep trying to get better. So I know there's a few there that I've read them, but I haven't gotten out to comment back, or so I'll try to do that here in the next day or two. But thank you. I enjoy reading them. I enjoy the comments are fun. So thank you so much. I guess we'll that was a short life update, just air conditioning, and say I'm back to watching my granddaughter 4 days a week, at least for the next several weeks. My daughter got into a job training program, which was really good. So in order for her to take that, I offered to watch my granddaughter. So I think it goes through November 3rd or 4th, something like that. So I probably won't get as much sewing crafting done, but that won't just diminish my plans, as you will see here at the end. So I'll go ahead and get into my whips right now. Thing I've been working on here in the last week or two is November Quilt, which is a pattern by Paula Vaughn, and it's out of this book, Quilts for All Seasons. And let's see if I show you a better picture of it. And my book is starting to come apart. I should probably make a working copy, but I don't know. I just haven't done that yet. But that's the pattern. And so I'll say, you can see my book's starting to come apart. It's stitched with DMC, and this is stitched on 28 count Jobelin in the color, wrong thing. I think it's called, Water Lily is the name of the color of the fabric. And I don't know, it doesn't tend to show up very well on this. It's kind of a really, it looks more tan on camera, but it's really a really soft, kind of pale sage color. So anyway, when I picked this back up, all I had done was the quilt border and most of this star and some of the background color. So I've been able to finish the leaf, and fill in more of the background color, and then get all of this quilt sashing in, which is like all fractional stitches. It's like quarter stitches. So it's slow going because I want to make sure I don't mess it up and have to rip it out. And then I started another leaf up here at the top. So I've been working on that the last couple of weeks here and there, not consistently, obviously, but like to keep working on that. I had to go buy another DMC color for the background color so I can go and fill in the rest of the background color. Let's see, the other whip that I was working on mostly since my last video is a finish, so I'll show you that here in a minute. The other thing I was working on this last month was some socks. I really was feeling the draw to knit, thinking maybe if I knit, the cooler weather will come. Obviously it hasn't, but let's see if I can get this out. Although I'm going to have to, it's a pair of socks, and this yarn is from Artistic Lilly, which I'm not sure if she's still dyeing yarn. The last time I saw an Instagram post, she had taken a break for the summer or something, was considering not getting back into yarn dyeing, which is a shame because I love her colors. I have several of her sock sets. But anyway, this is the sock, and then I had was able to stitch this whole leg. I had the cuff done, but I've got, the pattern is wrong, so I'm going to have to rip all of this out, which is about 40 rows, I think is where I'm at. I took out my little bulb pins, my counting. So I need to look up a YouTube video, because what I'd like to do is be able to take the needles out and pick up stitches up here so I don't have to rip it all out. But I've never done that before. I'm not, while I've been knitting for probably, I don't know, 10 years or so, I'm really not that, I've done easy stuff, and so not quite to that skill level yet, but that's what I'd hope to do. But I don't know, we'll see if I can get these done this fall, but that's what I'd worked on since my last video. And this pattern is called, where'd it go? It must be on the inside. Sorry for the crinkling, it's inside a page protector. Something Latte, Vanilla Latte, that's the name of the sock pattern. So, and it's by Virginia Rose, I'll probably say that wrong, Jeans. So anyway, that's the sock pattern, and it's really, really a nice pattern. I really enjoyed working on it, and I think if you're not familiar with knitting, I think what they call, I finally think I have figured out my sock recipe. I've started and made a few socks before now, and they have fit, but they've been really, really tight. And this is the first sock that really, really fits good and is comfortable. So I think I have figured out my sock recipe, which is your cast on number around, and then, you know, the length of the leg and the length of the foot. So this is the first one, my first sock that I've been really, really happy with. So I want to get that second one done, and so I can wear these. So that was my second whip. And let's see. So for FFOs, fully finished objects, I have two. This one you're probably sick of seeing because I think I've shown it on every video practically since I started. But this is the Monochrome Eagle that I've made for my son. I got it framed. You can see the texture. It's kind of a, what do they call that? Scraped and flooring. I forgot what they call that. Hand scraped. Anyway, it kind of has that look on the frame. But anyway, I was pretty pleased considering how long it's been since I've framed anything myself. I thought I got it centered fairly well and so forth. And there was glass in the frame. I got the frame at Michael's. I had to take the glass out to get it to fit, and I didn't quite get the back on. I don't know if that shows. You can see I got it in to go into the top, but not the bottom. I tried tapping it in with a hammer, so this will probably never come out, but my husband thinks he can get it out and trim off the bottom, and then we can get it to fit in. But even if we don't, I think it's fine. I mean, so anyway, my husband was supposed to have made a trip to Austin where my son lives and was going to take this for a work trip, but that got canceled. So, but we know we'll see him in November. So he'll get it then. So that's one FFO, fully finished framed object, as to say. And then my next one, this is what I spent a lot of time stitching on since my last video. And, oh, I didn't pull the pattern out, sorry. And I think I've put it away. Oh, no, here. Yeah. So I was working on, this was a class that I signed up to take at the Stitch Niche, which is my local needlework shop. And the class was taught by Becky Noland of Lucy Beam. It was a great class, great instruction. I really enjoyed taking the class from her. But so say I didn't have, had to finish the stitching, and then got it made into a drum. And she tried something new and taught us how to do this when you sew the seam together to put beads on. I don't know how well that'll show. And I just say I'm pretty pleased with how that came out. So this is my tomato harvest drum. And then there's Algerian eyelets in the basket there. And this was stitched with all DMC. Now there was, I did make a couple of changes. The pink that these letters are in was a much paler pink, and I didn't like it. Kind of blended into the fabric, and so I pulled out and went with something just a little darker, and it's pretty close to the dress color. And then I goofed her belt there. And her sleeve caps were supposed to be a different color, but after getting it stitched and realizing I'd put in the wrong color, I was like, it looks fine. I left it. So, and it's funny, I really wasn't happy with my stitching across where you put on the top and bottom. But after you let it sit and come back and look at it, I'm like, it's not so bad. But I think I now understand why a lot of drums have chenille or some sort of trim to cover up that stitching. I don't know if I'll do that or not, but for my first one, I say I'm pretty pleased. In the class, she had polyfill for us to stuff these, and I had to leave right there at the end of the class. I mean, I think they were extending the time. I think the class schedule said 4, but they were in no rush to make us leave. But anyway, she had talked to some other people about how she used to stuff her drums with crushed walnut or the lizard litter, but she had to stop doing it because she travels to teach and that they're just too heavy. So she started using polyfill. Excuse me. And I don't really enjoy stuffing things with polyfill because I'm never happy with, I can never get them smooth enough or not lumpy enough. And so I had lizard litter at home, so I came home and I filled mine with lizard litter. So it's pretty, and I could have put a little bit more in there, but I say, for my first one, I don't think it's too bad. So I'm really, really tickled. I hope to make some more of these and get my husband to get my red shelf up. So this can be to go on there. And there is a pin cushion to go on the top, but I need to find some sort of long pin or something to stick through there so that it can sit on top there. But oh, and if you're interested, this is stitched on 32 count parchment is the fabric, and all DMC. So there she is. So set that down. Oh, I was going to see what you thought. This ribbon was in the finishing kit in the class, and I tied it into a bow, and I was considering adding it onto the top there. So if you have an opinion, let me know. My husband thinks I should leave it off, but I was thinking about adding that, but I don't know. Can't decide. So if I stick it on with a pin, it won't matter. I can always take it off. I don't think I'll sew it on there. So, but those were my 2 finishes since last month. And like I said, really enjoyed taking the finishing class, and I think they have some more coming up. I don't know. I had lost my newsletter sheet. Well, it wasn't in the class schedule they had come out with at the Stitch Niche. I need to find it so I can see if there's some other classes. So definitely take another one. Oh, one other finish. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. The other thing I finished since my last video, I had a quilt, where did I put the pattern I was going to show you? Well, shoot, I picked it up. Where did I put it? Anyway, I'll try to insert a picture here. I had finished a quilt and shown it a couple of videos ago. It's a fall fabric quilt. The pattern was called Firecracker quilt, and it was all done in red, white, and blue. And I bought a fabric line from Sandra Gervais. It was all fall fabrics, pumpkins and leaves and things. And so it came back from the quilter, and I got it trimmed down, got the binding on it, and got it hung up. And so if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen it. But I'll try to insert a picture here so you can see. I have a curtain rod up in my formal living room that I like to change out quilts. Right now I just have 3. So this is my second seasonal one. So I need a Christmas one and a spring one. Anyway, we'll start with that. We'll see. And this one just barely fits. I mean, it goes all the way out to the quilt frame, and it's longer. So it's not really a wall hanging size, but it fit and I like it, so it's up. But when I did that, I pulled that up and I got all my, or not all, but the ones I could get to. I got out my fall decorating, and I realized I really need some more fall stitching pieces, because the only thing I had to put out stitching wise was this one. I thought I'd pull it off, and this is Olga's Tart by Plum Street Samplers. I did this 3 years ago, I think. And if you've done the pattern, or if you're familiar with it, the only changes I made to this is I left the whiskers off of the cat. But anyway, but I was like, I thought I had more. So I got my fall decorating out, and I'm like, I need to do some more smalls. And I thought, I have tons of autumnal stitching patterns. And so went to looking. Turns out they're all big pieces. There's very, very little smalls. So I need to up my game on getting some smalls done. Yeah. She has another cat stitched. It's a white cat, or yellow, no, an orange cat sitting on a white pumpkin, and I forgot the name of it. But anyway, so I have that one, but I say all the other patterns I have are big pieces. So I may have to, I know Brenda Gervais came out with some here in August that I would really like to buy. If you've seen them, the 2 squirrels, they're dressed, a boy and a girl. And then there was another one with pumpkin and a bird on it. I really liked that one. And the Be Ye Thankful one, I'd say I could buy all 3 of those, but I haven't. But needless to say, I'd like to get some more small fall stitching pieces. So that about covers it as far as what I've gotten done since my last video. Oh, and I didn't mention at the beginning, sorry, I say I put out 2 videos for my 50 and 50 that I'm going to start in January, which if you're new here, I'm turning 50 next year, and so my plan is to start 50 new things, 1 a week for 50 weeks. So I'll skip the week of Christmas and the week of Thanksgiving. And so I put out 2 videos in August, one with the fully kitted projects that are ready to go, and then a second video of partially kitted projects. And so I still have some refining to do. I haven't had time to mess with it because there were some projects in there that I guess not as interested in doing, or I'm waffling on. So I really need to get my tushy in gear and make some final decisions so that I need to plan out what I'm going to start when. And yeah, so to say, it's September 20th. I need to get that stuff finalized. So we'll go into plans for the next, I say, and if you're not new around here, I should say I make plans, but I don't always follow through with them. I squirrel a lot, but I guess you won't get anything done if you don't plan to do things. So I pulled out a few things. I was on Instagram a week ago or two, and I follow Hands-On Design, and she put out a picture of a new fall piece that if you were a newsletter subscriber you got for free, and I hadn't signed up for her newsletter, so I went out and subscribed. Hence the thing about needing more autumnal smalls. This one is called Plaid for Autumn, and it was a freebie for her newsletter subscribers. And I don't know if you might try going out to her website and signing up for her newsletter, because it came right away. There was 2 emails, one with the welcome and then this second email. And I pulled this fabric out of my stash that I had bought just because I liked it, from Rogue Stitching. It's a picture of this plus fabric, 32 count, called Barnwood. In some of the light it looks brown, and then in more sunlight it kind of has a purple hint to it. Can't tell how accurate that is on the screen to showing up, but I thought that would look good for this. Because it calls for, I think, slate. Yeah, it was stitched, the model was stitched on 32 count slate fabrics by Stephanie, so I thought this brown would look. And let's see, pull up the, I'm missing it, there it is. Oh, so these are the colors, those are 2, and then of course there's a teal and another orange, and this kind of browny orange. So I think those will look really, really good on this brown fabric. So I hope to get this going and finished. I say it's, I'm looking for the stitch, 51 by 51. So it's not very big. So if I got started on it and really stuck to it, I should be able to knock that out. Make a little pillow or something out of it. Oh, looky there. This is the quilt pattern that is the one that I finished in my fall fabric that I'll show a picture of, that's hanging up in my living room if anyone's interested. I don't know. I say I've had this for ages, so I don't know if it's still available, if you could find it or not, but that's the pattern I used for that. So next for my plans aren't cross-stitch related. Hopefully you won't mind seeing. This was a piece, and I looked for the pattern for this before my video and I couldn't find it, so I don't know what I've done with it. But if you really, really want to know, make a comment and I'll see if I can find it. But this was a gift from a friend years ago, and I finished the stitching last year. Let's see if I can do this. I've got it just on muslin, and say a friend gifted me the pattern and all of the DMC to stitch it years ago, and but I say I finally got it stitched last year, and it had a border that went around the outside of it that was just sort of hash marks, which I left off of there. But everything else is as called for. And there are some specialty stitches in here. Like the leaf up here is a chain stitch. I don't know if you can, will that show? And then just the crosses. What were some of the others? Was that it? Oh, and just French knots inside the flower and the lazy daisy on the petals. And there's French knots on this end of these vines. Anyway, really, really enjoyed stitching this. but I want to turn it into a pillow, and so I've pulled some fabrics out of my stash that I want to use to go around the edge of it and make some kind of like a log cabin or just some strips around and turn that into a pillow. And then I've got this kind of mustard linen-y looking fabric to go on the back. So I hope to have that done or get that done, but I don't have a pattern, so I'm just sort of have to make it up myself. So we'll see how I do there. But the stitching's done, so I need to turn that into something and let it, instead of letting it sit around and linger. The next thing that I want to finish is this quilt shop's no longer around. It used to be in town. It's called Lone Star House of Quilts, and if you're into quilting and you're into Civil War fabric, you may know Betsy Chutchin. She designs fabric for Moda. Sorry, my phone's being loud. Anyway, Betsy used to work at that quilt shop, and she designed some kits and things for them. And this one's called Matt's Cat and Pumpkin Patch Table Runner. And I've had this in a partial state. I don't even know how long, because that quilt shop's been closed a very long time. But it's just going around and putting a buttonhole stitch around all the wool. And so I got it upside down. I'd really, really, really would like to get this done and out for display. So it's all wool felt, not acrylic felt or craft felt, but wool felt, and it's all adhesive ironed on. So and the only thing that I've gotten stitched down so far is the black cat. So, and thought I saw stitching. So that's something else I'd like to work on in the next, because it's been sitting around way too long. Like I said, I like to start things and then I squirrel. But I really need to work on getting some stuff finished. And lastly, the last thing I want to work on, and this I know I won't finish, because this is one of these very long-term projects. It's from a book, a Blackbird design book called When the Cold Wind Blows, and this is just my working copy because I've got it shoved in my basket. But does it say? I think there are 300 baskets in this, but maybe not, because she says anytime someone tells me to cut 300 of anything, it takes my breath away. But this quilt was designed by Barb Adams in the book, and I say friends and I started this years to go together, and I've got it all. Let's see if I can do this without dumping it out, but I have all my fabric for it in here. It's sitting there. Can't see the good, but browns and let's say cheddar. Oh, come on, you're in the way. Cheddar oranges. So, and creamy backgrounds. So I would like to get that out and at least make a few more baskets. I'll have some that are prepped and ready to go, so I don't even have to do that part. I just need to sit down and applique some of them down. But thought I'd show you some of them. They're just so cute. And so some are in 2 colors, some I did in all orange. I think most of them are, let's see, there's a brown one. So anyway, I know this won't get done, but at least I can get it out and see, maybe get a few more baskets, applique on. So say 300 baskets, this thing will probably take me forever and a day to get done. So those are my plans for the next month, probably October and November. I'd like to work on those. And this last week I've been working on, I got my tub of fabric out to make project bags, and I've been cutting those out. And I've got 10 or 11 cut out. So now I need to cut out the fusible fleece to go on the inside. And I got to clear off my sewing table. And I have a folding table behind my sewing table that's full of, I had a big drawer full of thread that I inherited from my Meemaw when she passed, or well, actually got it before she passed away, but all the colors were all together, and digging through that was a pain to find a color you needed. So I'm working on I bought a thing to go on the door with little drawer shelf thingies. It's an Elfa thing. So anyway, I've been sorting out colors and getting that on the wall, so when I need a thread color I don't have to dig so much. So, but I got to clear that off before I can do any sewing because it's all in the way. So lots of plans as usual. We'll see what I follow through with and what I actually get done. And I say I've been working at keeping a better track of what I work on in my calendar. I hardly kept track of anything in August. I mean, it's like virtually blank. So, like I said, trying to keep up with that more just so I can see what I've done and what I've finished and keep up with it. Lastly, as to say, I have a little bit of haul as usual. I don't think I did too bad. Let me pull this out. From the the Needlework Expo that happened at the end of August, I picked up 4 things. Before that, I'll show you those first. So I picked up the Teresa Kogut Halloween book. There's some really cute stuff in there. And the ones that I really, really want to make are the 2 cats. And I need to go back to the Stitch Niche because the day I was there for my drum class, they had the fabric, but my husband was waiting on me outside in the parking lot because we were supposed to have dinner with friends, so I didn't get the fabric. But I want to go back and get the fabric to make these 2 cats. Now when I'll get that done, I don't know, with 50 new starts next year, but if I at least have it in my stash, it'll be ready to go. But these are my favorites from the book. I just think they're adorable. So I bought that from the Needlework Expo. And then the other fall piece, I got Seasons of the Heart from the Blue Flower. I just thought that was, really liked that. I like this. I think she's got one for every season. I don't know if they're all out. I know I've seen more than one. But it's a nice, and it says it's called for all DMC on 40 count. I don't know if I'll stitch on 40 count. I still need to try 40 count to see if I can do it. But I still need to first go to the eye doctor because my eyeglasses aren't working as well as they used to. So I know I need a new prescription. So that was one. And then the next one I got was Heart and Hand Wee Santa for 2022. I really liked him. I thought he was cute. And his coat's more pink. So I thought, if you watched my last video, or if you're familiar with the Fabrics from Stephanie, it's called Vintage Tiffany. It's kind of a bright aqua blue. I thought that could look cute, that pink on the aqua. So that's him. And then the last thing I got from the Needlework Expo was a new pattern called Abundant Table from Erica Michaels. And I absolutely fell in love with this. And it's a adaptation of an 18th century English sampler. So that's the antique. But she changed the saying. This one had the Nicene Creed on it. So she changed it to a prayer, and it says, "May the abundance of this table never fail and never be less, thanks to the blessings of God, who has fed us and satisfied our needs. To him be the glory forever. In peace let us eat this food which the Lord hath provided for us. Blessed be the Lord in his gifts. Amen." So I was just absolutely loved this. And of course it's a big piece. It's 209 by 206, so I don't know when I'll get to it, but I had to get that. That I think was my favorite piece from what I saw from the Needlework Expo. And then before the Needlework Expo, I think this came out before then, was the next triple play pillows from Hands On Design. These are the autumn baskets. I like these. So I got the pattern. I didn't buy the kit with the fabric for it like I did for the patriotic ones. And these are, each one is 67 by 67, so they're not terribly big, but. And then if you're familiar with Craftways, they come out with a Christmas book every year, and I'm on the automatic shipment. Last year's I gave away. I didn't care for as much in it as this one, and this year's though is, it's got lots of good stuff in it. It's got, I'll show you some of my favorites real quick. I liked this one, and if I remember correctly, this book, those that are on the automatic shipment get them first, and it's a little while before they come out for sale to the public. But I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the case. Just gonna see if I can find. Should have marked this before the video. I didn't think to do that. These little guys I thought were absolutely adorable. So I want to make this little bunny for my granddaughter for a Christmas ornament this year. And maybe I'll make the others one every year from now on. But thought they were so cute. And they are by where does it say who it's by? Designer Barbara Sestock. So I don't know if she's got, because I know a lot of times in this book they'll give the designer name but not necessarily the company name if they have a company. So I don't know who she is, if she's got patterns out by a different name. But loved the little, say Barbara Anna has a piece in here, which was cute. I liked this Christmas tree with the animals. I was to say this one had just a bunch of stuff that I really liked. There's of course a couple of Christmas stockings, and I thought he was cute. Oop, there's a glare. But there was way more in this one that I liked. And of course, I almost never stitch Christmas, which I need to, but of course there's a few in here there. But see, that may have been my favorites. There's a stocking in here that I liked. I liked, of course, this one on the cover. That's the Cocoa. And then I liked this Merry Christmas piece with the cottage. This one too. So if you don't get the book, maybe you can get it after it comes out. I'm saying it's through Craftways, which I believe is the same company that owns Hirschner's. Can't remember. Anyway, thought I'd show a few things out of there if anybody was. And there's a picture of some of the other stuff that's in there on the back. So, keeping this one this year for sure. And I think that's about it for it today. I don't think I've forgotten anything, hopefully. I make notes, but then I don't always remember everything. So I hope that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're, maybe where you live, you're actually getting fall weather and beginning to enjoy the cooler temperatures. If you are, send them down this way. We could use them. So that's it. Sorry for I say this video is about a week late, so apologies for that. Hopefully I can get back to the regular scheduled program for October and get out on time. And Feel free to leave a comment, say hi, do all the subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you in October. Blessings.